Getting ready to cast these. I just got to figure out how I'm going to have these assorted in this size frame. The originals were pot metal or something. I'm not sure what it is. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and cast a set of bronze ones. No, I didn't cut this with a handsaw. I took it on out to the table saw and cut it to size. I would have shown that on video. It's not worth it. Who hasn't seen a table saw running anyway? I made a little follow board here. We're going to use Petrobond. I'm going to stop these holes up. We're going to pour them in a new little furnace that I bought. This little guy is made in New York, and it's a tabletop furnace. It will help free me up in other parts of this, I believe. We'll see. I'm not going to worry about keys on here because it should fall right down in place there. I'm going to put my sprue right down the middle here. And we're going to pour one . I shouldn't hit anything right there, should I? Got a little breakout right there. I'm not going to go with an overhead trap, but I am going to go with overhead runners. This is all going to be on the back side. All the details going to be there, so I don't want to gate into any of that if I can help it. Go on, mosquito. I'm trying to be very careful here that I don't push and distort the sand. Now I'm just going to feed in through the top of the mounts. I think that's going to work. All we have left to do is put a pouring basin in. And I have to be careful because I can't go very deep with this. Make sure we turn this the right way. Set it in place, cut the little furnace on, and see what happens. Alright, so this little tabletop furnace is I know, it's a rinky-dink thing compared to what I'm used to using, or my pouring shank. And I may as well, now that I see, I need to put that pouring lip right there. And I need to rotate that mold about 90 degrees as well. Cool light, huh? I already ran this through the break-in yesterday to burn off all the oil, smoke it off. The PID controller will start displaying the actual temp. Alright, it's 1744. A nice orange crucible. This little furnace is for situations just like this. These and the bronze bearings like I've done for Keith. I've still got to do some more of those, by the way. I wanted something that was a little more accurate on temp. With bronze, you got to be careful. This little thing costs a good bit more than what you would find in the Chinese models, but I wanted something American made. I wanted something I can be able to get on the phone, call these guys if I have trouble. Well, let's see what we got. Well, I got a handle anyway. Okay, this is it. This is the one we use as the pattern. This is the casting. This turned out alright. Got to work on the ends and get the diameters on that down to the same size as this. I had another idea, but I've decided against that since then. The agreement with this customer is only one handle is needed to replace the one I showed you earlier that was broken. I explained that I couldn't do that, but matching the patina up with this might be difficult. So we may end up having to cast all new hardware just to keep everything consistent. Hopefully I will be able to experiment with this and get it close to that same color. We'll see. I've got several buddies that are in the bronze that are specialists at it that I'm going to be asking for their assistance as I try this. As for the small furnace that I just purchased, that is to take the load off of the big furnaces. It makes no sense to the big furnaces to high temps just to pour little bitty parts like this, especially if it's a one-off. Normally what I do is I would line up a whole bunch of bronze or a whole bunch of brass jobs ahead of time and then pour them all at once. The problem with that is after about the third mold, your crucible starts dropping in temp several hundred degrees, enough to affect the fluidity. Speaking of which, I was a couple hundred degrees shy of making a successful pour with this along with the two mounts. I needed that couple hundred extra degrees just to fill those, which as you saw they didn't turn out. This did though. There's times when I don't really need to pour a lot of metal, and on top of that, this should be a little more accurate as far as the holding temp that I need. The griddle, I did not get a chance to ram and mold and pour that this week. I am a little behind on the quota that I set for the customer on the straight edges. I have been bustling trying to get as many of those per week as I can get done, along with fit things like this in between. And I'll tell you, this heat is something else right now, and of all things, my exhaust fan went out. The funny thing about that is Keith and I ran the outlet up there last year to it, and he said that thing sounds like it's burned up. And I said, it's been sounding like that 20 years. Well, guess what? It burned up for sure this time. I have an idea to change up my sleep schedule because of the heat and go to bed as soon as I get off my day job, get up at 11 p.m. at night, and work in the foundry until 5 a.m., knock off, and go to my day job. Which would be ideal when you factor in the cooler temps. It would just work out great. There's one problem though. If my dad needs me, I'm going to be asleep. So, and he's often need me to help him with something. So, I don't. That's the drawback. So I'm probably going to stick it out till the time change, which isn't that far away now. So that will make things a lot easier as well. That's it for the casting end of this video. Like I said, I'll try to show you the griddle along with that other thing that I failed to mold several weeks back that Keith Rucker made the pattern for, that we had to put the core in. If you saw that, it busted the core when I went to assemble it, and I said we'll skip over it, get back to it as soon as we can. Well, it still hasn't happened. So I'll try to fit that in along with the remolding and the pouring of the griddle for next week's video. Now, I'm not promising anything, so if it's not on there, it's not on there. Friday, we took a trip down to see the historic Union Pacific Big Boy, and I've got some video of that along with some video of my buddy Roger. If I haven't introduced him to you, I'm going to in this video. Roger is a very good person, a very genuine friend of mine, and he also has a lot of foundry experience under his belt from his earlier years in the Navy. So, but that was not what he turned into for his career. I'll let him tell you about that. But anyway, that's going to be, I'm going to use the train for the end of this video. I hope y'all have a good remainder of the weekend. Stay cool. Hope you're staying a lot cooler than I am. And I'll see what I can put together for next week. Have a good day. I am in historic Donaldsonville, Louisiana, and I'm with my buddy Roger Olson, a retired locomotive engineer. Who better to spend my time with this day on this historic moment than Roger? We are here to see the big boy, the Union Pacific Big Boy. It's going to be rolling in here in about 10 minutes. So, hope I can get some good video with the other camera on this.
I'm Roger Olson. I'm a foundry buddy of Clark's, and we met at the Soule Steam event a couple of years ago. I retired from Union Pacific, originally hired on the Southern Pacific in 1975, and upon my retirement I had 36 years in 1 month. That was in 2011, so I've been retired 10 and a half years already.
And I forgot to tell you, but Roger was in the Navy before this, and he worked in the foundry. So he is my eyes and ears a lot of times when I'm running into problems. But
time has erased a little bit of that memory, though. It's been a long time since I was in the Navy.
As he's been around me doing it, he remembers why he don't want any part of it now.
Wheel arrangement is it's a 4884. That's two axles, 4 wheels on a pony truck up in the front, 2 sets of drivers. There are 8-wheel drivers on each section, and then it has a 4-wheel trailing truck underneath the firebox, because the firebox is incredibly heavy. It's one of the heaviest parts of the locomotive. And it was built, I think, in the 1940s to meet some of the demand of World War II and the amount of freight that they were handling. And this is the only one that's still running in operating condition, although they have a lot of static displays of these in Denver, Omaha, Cheyenne, Wyoming, and other places. So it's a relic of the past, and you'll never see another one like it.
And I think when it was built, I think there were, in all, I think there were 21.
Something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah, there was in excess
I may
of
be
20
wrong.
of them.
It was 20 something. All right, well, we're fixing to switch over and use the other camera. Yep.
You can spot him at the depot. Who?
He stopped right there.
Stopping at the depot. All right. It means he's applying the brakes. When he blows down the cylinders, you're going to feel soon. We start moving. There you go.
Except for Facebook.
Yeah, there you go.
I hear the sirens. Are they waiting for their police escort?
This is
Chuck Harwell.
Chuck Harwell.
Hey, Chuck.
Chuck's an engineer over at the
Okay.
railroad now, too.
A bunch of engineers.
I fired
in here
Roger
today.
for a few trips.
Clark lives up in Morton, Mississippi,
Yeah.
correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Clark has a foundry, and we have something in common here, because I worked in the foundry.
Okay.
And we ran across each other and
Nice.
became buddies.
Cool.
For some reason, they won't bring the big boy through Morton now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's moving.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
We had a great time while we were gone yesterday, and it was nice to just get away for a change. Get you refocused here. Might see some goblins flying around it again tonight. I hope all of you are doing well, and I will talk to you next week. In the meantime, I'm going to stand out here for a few more minutes and watch the moon and the stars and the Elon Musk satellites, and get back to mold making. But y'all have a good day.